All right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I want to take a look at what is the talk of YouTube, the Richard Allen new photo that was released, uh, and they're claiming that he was beaten. Now, if it don't take a rocket scientist to look at the photo, that it appears to me not to be real. I'm no professional; I could be wrong, but I do believe the photo's photo op. All right, so let's take a look at it real quick. All right, there I posted it in chat. And we're also going to cover a couple other things tonight. I'm kind of worried about doing anything on the Epstein files. Pretty dangerous right now, so I don't know yet. But what is wrong with this photo? For one, it's so grainy. I don't know if what kind of camera they were using. And as you can see, there's kind of a glow around them, right? A sort of like an outline. You can see the shadow is being cast. You can see which way the shadow is being cast on his body, but yet it appears to be a shadow on the other side of his face. His ears ain't lining up. Uh, it don't help that there's a cut at the very top of his head, like a film, a dark film that's over it. And if you zoom in close, it's not equaling his head, right? It's not matching up with the top of his head. So what could this be? Uh, Even his nose is wrong. Uh, yeah, what could it be? Well, it could be tactics from either defense or whatever to, well, look at he was beaten, and he could have been beaten, but this photo that I'm seeing, and you could tell. Look at his shoulders ain't adding up. One shoulder is totally different than the other shoulder. Uh, I don't know if you folks can see that or not. It does look like there's some kind of a bruise on his shoulder. You know, I don't know if it's real. My guess is there's a reason why it's so grainy, and let's see if we can zoom in on it and see what else we can see. Hold on a minute. Yo, Miss Debbie Fox. RC99 thinks that it is a still photo taken from the video that was released. Well, that could be true. Let me see what I could do with this photo. Now, if I copy, let's see here. All right, let me see if I can open it up. Well, well, well. I'm sorry, folks, but I think it's a fake photo. All right, because I'm zooming in right now. Let's take a look. Let me get back to my thing here. Hold on a minute, folks. All right, can you see? Look at how grainy it is. It's like a film over it or something. Almost looks like fingerprints on the side of his head. What we're looking at, a bunch of stripes in there, and everything, looks like a fingerprint or a thumbprint or something. And notice his black eyes are both black, same size on both sides. The nose is wrong, right? He's on one side, he's got no nostril, but on the other side, you can see his nostril. So I'm thinking it probably his whole face structure is off. So yeah, his one ear is missing. He don't even have an ear on his right side of his head or left side of his head. Where's his ears at? There ain't no ears. He's he's got no ears. Did they cut his ears off? I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I am all for evidence being presented within the courts on this Odin stuff. You know, maybe they can link all these guys together. Not if maybe on the streets they didn't know each other, but within this Odin or whatever they call it, Mason thing or whatever, lodge that they belong to, there might be a connection there. So, who knows? Maybe he wasn't in Odinus, but he hung around with Odinus, and that's, who knows? But what am I guessing? I don't think this is a real photo. And look at the outline around his head. It's almost like he's got a halo. And what does that mean? Well, a good chance somebody's, you know, photo opted, paste or whatever they call it. So I don't know. And his one shoulder ain't adding up with his other collarbone, right? I don't know. It just, like I said, you can actually see a line coming down the center of his face. He's got no nostril on this side, but you can see a nostril coming out over here on this side. So, I don't know. I don't know. Debbie says Odin and Masons are different. They might be. I don't know. I don't belong to their organizations, so they might be different. Maybe, I don't know. But you're right, Deb. They don't hang out with each other. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's a war within the Mason Odin thing. I don't know. Yeah, behind it. Let's see what RC saying. This was a court exhibit from the defense, who the judge hates with a passion. They would have called them up on it. Well, you know what? What did we find out after all this was said and done? That it was the defense that leaked a lot of the stuff, right? Trying to get their client innocent or to look innocent, whatever it may be. I don't know. But they've been caught of foreign lies. So could this be a tactic from the defense? It could be. We know this much. Richard Allen was there that day, the time the girls were there. We know it was his bullet that was found there. Now, does that make him the murderer? No. But they got to explain that he was there, but it wasn't him. That's their job. Now, is it possible he was set up? Well, yeah, sure. Sure, it was possible if all these guys belonged to the same lodge and one of them got in trouble and yeah, it's very possible. But you'd have to open the court. You'd have to go back into court and show everything. How would they have got his bullet? Well, they must have been to his house before this murder. Maybe a police officer took it. That's possible. Uh, if Richard Allen ain't the killer, then someone set him up, and you'd have to look real close to his surrounding family and friends. Or if he was a Masonic lodge or an Odin dude. A lot of questions need to be filled. Let me see. I didn't really know about rural Indiana until I got into this case, but it seems crazy. Well, there's crazy everywhere. You there's crazy everywhere. Crazy is everywhere. So not only in Indiana, every state has got their crazies. Just so happens Indiana is probably one of the top craziest. So we just it could be a sport to them. I don't know. I mean, it's obvious you guys can see the glow around his head, right? How there's like white illuminating around his head and face around her, and that looks like a fingerprint. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a fingerprint right here, right over here on the side here. I don't know if you see my mouse. That looks like a fingerprint. What are we dealing with? I don't know. To me, it looks like some kind of an altercation here, a photo op, something. It's sad that we live in a world where we'll never know the truth. By the time these people are done making up stuff, no one's going to believe the truth. If we said, "Here's the truth right here," and then, well, what about this photo? Well, that's the thing. See, we live in a country where it's free to just create shit that ain't real. Right? This could have been AI photo. If Richard Allen was beaten half to death, what would he look like? And then the AI put out a photo. And that's the problem with our country now. We got to go back to some old ways because now it's too easy to make it look like something happened to somebody when it really didn't. It's just crazy. It's just too crazy, RC. By the way, I used to drink RC Cola when I was younger. It was cheaper, and it was pretty good. RC Cola was big in my family's houses when we were growing up. But then again, we were poor. We couldn't afford the good stuff, Coca Cola and Pepsi. So we drink RC Cola. So I'm just saying, give a shout out to your family for the RC Cola. Now, RC and moon pies. Nah, moon pies. Oh, you can get moon pies out here, Debbie. 99 cents. Banana, vanilla, chocolate, and blueberry. Go figure. There was no blueberry moon pies when we were growing up. It was just chocolate. That was it. Chocolate moon pies. No, that's all we had. You kids got it so good right now. Your moon pies. All right. I love the blueberry ones. Yeah, they were pretty good, Debbie. Dipping them in the coffee or tea at night. Blueberry ones are good. So what am I thinking? I don't know. A lot of people are saying this is real. It was released from the Penta courts and everything. Yeah. And what are we seeing? Well, we're not going to believe anything until you open up the court to the people, uh, where we can watch it on YouTube or on CNN, and so we know exactly what's going on. No one's going to believe anything. Now, like I said, there's been new information on the Epstein files. Now, this could go both ways. I'm going to talk about it real quick. Epstein files. What do we got? Well, Trump's mentioned in it. I know this much. There is a good chance Mr. Trump knew And once he found out, he told them to stop and distanced himself from Mr. Epstein. Now, that's possible. Mr. Trump, it's also possible, was a whistleblower. That is possible. If he knew, they're going to need evidence of him being there with one of these young girls, or evidence, or someone stating that they seen Trump with a young, and that's all I'm talking about. There's a good chance he could be a whistleblower, and that's why he distanced himself from Mr. Epstein and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Now, let me see. He does look beat up. Well, that's if the photo's real. The tip of the thing right now is it's so grainy and filtered. What they use, a 1987 or 90 phone. It's so grainy. And usually if this was taken from a video and someone stopped the video, paused it, and then took the photo, it would look totally different than what we're seeing. It wouldn't even be that clear. You wouldn't even be able, it would be so distorted. This is grainy. This is like, this is, I'm just saying, I highly believe if this is real, then someone's using a really outdated camera or something to take this photo. But if you can't see, I mean, literally, it looks like a set of fingerprints on the side of his, right next to his head on the left side. Well, if you're looking at it like we are right now, it'd be on his right side. Them look like fingerprints. His stash is crooked. His whole face is lopsided. He would be in the hospital right now with massive skull fractures. Literally. When I had my accident when I was a kid, I had a fracture in the brain or whatever, a skull or whatever. And it literally will distort your face, swollen, all kinds of stuff. I'm not seeing that here, you know. I'm just not seeing that here. So I don't know who, I don't know why. He's got no heirs. They must have cut his heirs off. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Maybe, I don't know, but he's got no heirs. Where are his heirs? I know a lot of you are going, it's him, it's him. Yeah, that's funny because he had heirs. But see, in this photo, when we zoom in on it, he's got no flipping heirs. I don't know how much I got to do in this country. I already run that and think, do I got to do everything? I guess so. I guess so. Do I get paid? I don't get paid for shit. They don't pay me. They still owe me from 10 years ago on stimulus checks that these idiots on YouTube every day are pumping out stimulus check in the mail. Check your bank. Check. We got banks bitching because these idiots are calling the banks 24/7 to see if their checks came in, that there were no checks issued, and they got the whole system going nuts because now we're getting another $2,000. I ain't got the first 10 grand. What do you mean? They're causing the shit. It looks like he's just distorted. It looks a lot more than distortion and sustain and a lot of other things. If this was real and he looked like that, they should have brought a TV camera in there and asked to have visitations to him and got it right on live camera. Look at this is the client. Because this photo, I can't. There's a set of fingerprints on the side of his head. I can't say it's his cheeks ain't even. His whole face structure is off. He had a totally different face structure. I don't know who this is. It could be anybody that got beat, and they superimposed it or photo opted, and it was Richard Allen. We don't know. It hasn't been on the news here. You know how I know it's real is when I turn on the 11 o'clock news at night, and there's a photo or the news lady, uh, Lisette, um, saying this is Richard Allen and he got beaten. I haven't seen nothing on the news on it. Well, I haven't seen nothing on the news about him getting beat. I'll check again, but I haven't seen nothing on the local news. And every time something goes on in Delphi with the local news here, they report on it. I haven't seen nothing. Now it could be real, but I don't know. And the reason I'm saying I don't think it's real is because we've seen this in the Delphi case. I don't know how many times. Fake documentation and fake photos. So I can't say 100% if it's real or not. Does it look real to me? It don't look real to me. Why? Because he's got no heirs. I'm looking at the photo now. Where are his heirs? Did they cut him off? I don't know. Can you see his heirs, Debbie? Where? Someone show me his heirs. Debbie Fox says his heirs are gone. They must have hacked him off. I've seen that happen. Yeah, it's very possible. But I can't do this no more with this stuff. Yeah, we're going to have to shut everything down. You can't get justice in America. It take too long, and it's just too easy to set people up. All you got to do is whisper a name, and the next thing you know, you're behind bars for the rest of your life because of hearsay or a photo someone doctored up. It's just too risky. We got to shut everything down, and we got to revamp the whole court system. Everything. They just wouldn't listen. We told them this stuff. If this technology gets out, one day you could just wake up and your face is plastered all over that you robbed a bank, whatever, and it was all AI generated. It's over with. The whole court says we already got enough innocent people in prison. It's over. Debbie says he's got ear holes. He could after you cut your ears off or your ears get burned, you just have a hole in ear hole, your ear canal. So it's possible. I don't know. I don't know. We've heard so much bull crap. We don't know what's true or not. Emails, even emails can be fake. It's just too risky. I'm sorry for the American citizens. Uh, we got to change everything. It's just too risky. It's too easy right now. Uh, it's just way too easy to rip people off, to set them up. You name it. It's just too risky. We're gonna have to shut her down. Not the government. We're gonna have to shut the courts down. Everything. You gotta have the government. We just opened the government. We're not shutting the government down. I'm talking to the justice system. But don't pay any attention to me, folks. I am just jibber jabbering. I am just relaying the freedom of speech. Do I think this photo is real of Richard Allen? Uh, Being that I've been on the Delphi case since it happened, I'm up, real close there. Not real close, like 6, 7 hours or something, but in Indiana. Uh, and what I've seen in this Delphi case stuff, I don't believe it's real. At this point, we would actually have to see this occur to believe anything from the government, the state, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if that's him or not. His nose don't look right, and they must have cut his ears off because he's got no ears. Yeah, it's just way too easy. You piss off a cop, next thing you know, you got trouble. You got years coming because they'll just he attacked me. They'll just come up with lies, and that's another thing going on with civilian life. These people always getting picked up for all kind. He raped. He did this. He did that. That's the baby of my, or that's the father of my kid, and he went. And you never met these people in your life. You have no idea who they are, but you get arrested right away. I was watching the heavy diesel or heavy duty country last night, Danny, down there in Texas, and I agree with him. Yeah, yeah, are you kidding me? You're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, but that's a bunch of crap, folks. What happens? You get thrown in jail right away, and there you sit. And it's a horrible system. And do some of these people deserve to be where they're at? Yes. They haven't learned to change their ways, and they made a living out of being bad guys. Now let's zoom out a little bit on this. Let me see if I can't zoom out on it. Let me see what I could do. All right, can you folks see that? I zoomed into his eyes. There ain't no eyes. There's just black holes. Right? I don't know if this is real, folks. I really can't say if it's real. Let's zoom out. As we zoom out, you can see somewhat of an ear, but his ears, he had floppy ears. If you look at him with his hat on or whatever, his ears are sticking way out. This side's missing. And now let's look at the rest of them if I can get it to work. Well, that's as far as I can get it. Now, if you look at this side of his shoulder, it comes straight across and then drops down. Real sharp angle. But if you look at the other side, there's no angle. But you can see some kind of bruising or something here. But that could be an overlay, right? We know the shadows are coming from this side, so they're shooting. The light is coming from the side, and it's casting on upon his chest. But then also look up here, and you can see a film, almost like tint from a window on a car. Now, what's this shit at the top here, right? It cuts right across his head and stuff. So, it could be real, and it might not be real. I don't know. But I can tell you this much: we've seen a lot of shenanigans within the Delphi case. Would I believe this? I don't know. I would have to. I would have had to. He's how come they don't have him in a cell with a camera? This all would have been on if he got beat down in prison. It's all on camera. Why didn't they release that? Oh man, who's getting the crap kicked out of them, right? We see prison videos all the time of people getting beat down. How come they didn't show that? Right? I don't know. But there you go, folks. What do I think? Do I think it's real? A 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance that it's real. Now, once again, I'm going to let the federal government know I am not against if they have evidence that the American citizens should see, even if it wasn't these secret Odins or whatever, if the federal government has evidence of these people doing crimes like this or sacrificing people, then the American people, then it should be brought into court and the American people have the right to see what kind of evidence they had against these other people. There might have been a connection. We don't know. I'm not against them showing me evidence that the Federal Bureau of Investigation found out. Can we agree on that? If you ask me, it kind of looks like somebody put his head on someone else's body or photo opped over him or something. I don't know. He looks like a demon. Right? See how this stuff comes down like a clown to the point? Each side perfect, points coming down. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. The defense are sitting on stuff if they get a retrial. Well, yeah, let's hear it. This time, open the doors. This time, let the American people see it, not the idiots that camped out and vomited all over our beloved courthouse. And they made it into a circus down there. Them son of bitches should have at least raked up them leaves. They were camping out there for a week. Right? Open it up to the public and put the news cameras in there and let us see the whole case, all the evidence. It's our right as the American citizens. It's our dang courthouse. Everything. I'm like, we own it. What do you mean, man? We, the people, created all this. It's all ours. Military, everything. They own nothing. Federal government doesn't own nothing. We do. But they said, shut up or I'd be next. So I'm shutting up. Your states don't own anything. The people do. It's the people's court. I'm going to shut up because I don't want to end up like one of these idiots. I'm already dying. All right. You folks have a great day. God bless. All glory goes to God. Is it real or is it Memorex? I don't know. My opinion, it's just fishy all the way around. Right? It's just fishy. I would need more evidence than this. And like RC was saying, I agree with him. It could have been a video and someone paused it, and then took a still photo, but it wouldn't look this good if that's what they did. It wouldn't look that good if that's what they did. And the proof is bridge guy. Right? Remember what they said when it looked like he had 7 faces in one? Oh, well, that's because someone took it from a video and paused it, and that's where you're getting all the distortion and grain and all that. Well, then if that's what this is, like you were saying, RC, then we wouldn't be seeing this clear of a photo. Yes, RC, be safe. God bless. Thanks everyone for stopping in. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. When I'm wrong, I say I was wrong on that one. You know, everything is a competition to everybody, but you're wrong, you're wrong. Nothing you can do about it. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go on to the next thing. All right, you folks have a great day. I might be back with some of the Epstein stuff. I'm not sure yet. I'm deciding. Have a great day. We'll be back.